Right now, as Ukraine cribbles Russia's strategic military targets, Donald Trump is preparing to meet Putin face-to-face in Alaska, not to demand justice, not to force Russia to retreat, but to decide Ukraine's fate without Ukraine, handing Putin the victory he could never win on a battlefield. This isn't diplomacy, it's the spark that will ignite imperial ambitions everywhere and march the world straight into World War III. On August 6th, Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff spent 3 hours behind closed doors with Putin at the Kremlin. Both sides called it productive. Here's the reality: no ceasefire, no troop withdrawals, no prisoner exchanges, just vague talk of strategic cooperation and an air truce. That means nothing on the battlefield. Behind the smiles, Witkoff and Putin appear to have mapped out a two-stage play. Stage 1, announce a fake breakthrough, now to make Trump's Alaska meeting look like progress, while Putin gives up nothing. Stage 2, use that summit to push a deal on Russia's terms, freezing the war on Moscow's timetable. This was Trump's big move before his self-imposed August 8th stop the killing deadline, and all it did was buy Putin more time. A textbook Kremlin tactic: stall, smile for the cameras, and walk away without a single concession. This is Ukraine Update with Slavie on channel Yarochenko. Welcome. Let's play the credits. Trump didn't get his ceasefire, he didn't get his deal, but he did get something else: a date with Putin. August 15th, Alaska. A one-on-one summit between the US president and the man waging a genocidal war on Ukraine. No Ukraine invited. No Ukrainian delegation. No voice for the country whose territory is literally on the table. Trump hinted this could involve territory swaps, bargaining away Ukraine's land without Ukraine, kneeling to a war criminal, handing Putin the victory he could never win in a war militarily. Russia's version of peace isn't peace at all. It's Ukraine's execution. Recognition of Russian sovereignty over Crimea, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporozhye, and Kherson, areas Russia doesn't even control and cannot gain militarily. Permanent demilitarization. No long-range strikes, no modern weapons, and no ability to defend itself. Termination of all Western aid, cutting Ukraine off from its lifeline. And no NATO membership or security guarantees, leaving Ukraine defenseless. A politically neutral Ukraine as well, code for Moscow pulling the strings in Kiev, basically installing a puppet regime. Translation: Russia gets to keep killing whenever it wants with zero consequence. We've seen this movie before: Minsk 1 and 2, Istanbul. Every time Russia sits at the table, it's to freeze its gains, rearm, and come back stronger. This isn't negotiation, it's battlefield prep. So why is the Alaska meeting a strategic disaster? Because Putin gets a propaganda win at home, proof his war forced America to negotiate, a diplomatic weapon abroad, making Ukraine the problem if it refuses to surrender, and breathing room, time to rotate and rearm troops, fortified occupied territories, wait for Western fatigue, and spread propaganda that Russia is winning. And here's the procedural reality no one's talking about. Presidents don't negotiate peace. They sign after negotiations are complete, by skipping the entire diplomatic process. Trump has handed Putin direct access to manipulate him without any leverage in America's pocket. Meanwhile, Putin has not agreed to even stop the missile strikes, pull back troops, or release prisoners and Ukrainian children, or limit future attacks. This isn't diplomacy, it's theater. On August 9th, Zelenskyy made it crystal clear: Ukraine will not give up an inch of land. Its constitution forbids it. Real peace requires Ukraine at the table. Agreements made without Kiev aren't peace, they're sabotage. And in his words, Ukraine is not a salad. You can't chop it up and serve it to Moscow.
Але я не хочу, щоб ми були в списку меню для Путіна. Розумієте, так? Ми, так, не салат і не компот для цієї людини, незважаючи на його апетит. А ми бачимо, який він.
Putin didn't even want to meet Trump until now, because the moment he does, he knows Trump will run into daddy's arms, buying Moscow more time. The summit is not about ending the war, it's about solidifying Russia's position while freezing Ukraine out. Ukraine is winning by burning oil depots, blowing up rail lines, and hitting Russia where it hurts. It's logistics. That's how you win wars, and not by rewarding the aggressor with a red carpet summit. If you're finding this breakdown useful, like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep going. They've gone from stealing Ukraine's children to selling them like products online. This isn't adoption, it's 21st century human trafficking dressed up as charity. Occupation authorities in Luhansk just published an online adoption catalog listing nearly 300 Ukrainian children. The profiles include names, photos, personalities, and even filters by age, hair color, eye color, gender, and yes, categories like obedience or calm. These aren't orphans. These kids had families, Ukrainian citizenship, and their identities forcibly erased, replaced with Russian documents. Why is this so horrifying and criminal? Human rights groups are calling it digital child trafficking. Kids displayed like merchandise. Ukraine has documented at least 19,500 children forcibly transferred or abducted, but the real number could be in hundreds of thousands. Only 1,300 to 1,500 have been returned. The International Criminal Court has already issued arrest warrants for Putin and his children's commissioner, Lvova Belova, for these forced transfers. So what does this mean? This is not adoption. It's weaponized kidnapping designed to erase Ukrainian identity. Mykola Kuleba of Save Ukraine put it bluntly. With one click, a child is stripped of identity. Under the 1948 Genocide Convention, this could qualify as genocide, the forced transfer of children with the intent to destroy people's cultural identity. Russia's war in Ukraine isn't just fought with missiles, it's fought with memory, language, and bloodlines. And when you erase a child's name, you try to erase a nation. This must be called what it is. A war crime, and a crime against humanity. If you want to know how Ukraine fights back, follow the smoke. This week, Russia's radar screens went dark. Its trains stopped moving, and its oil went up in flames. First, Crimea. Ukrainian strikes wiped out multiple advanced radar systems and even took down the crown jewel of Russia's missiles defense. That means Crimea now has a massive blind spot in its early warning shield, and Moscow knows it. Then, the railways. Tatinskaya station in Rostov was hit 2 nights in a row, knocking out fuel, ammo, and heavy gear routes. Power's down, fires are still burning, and critical supply lines are scrambling for detours. Another major line in South damaged, delaying deliveries to the front. And the oil. Sochi Depot. Massive fire. Flights suspended. And Kremlin humiliated when influencers filmed a rap video with a blaze behind them. Ryazan refinery, a major military fuel hub, now running at less than half capacity. So what's the scoreboard? In the air, radar gone. On the ground, supply lines choked. In energy, war fuel drained. And for Moscow, a blunt message: nowhere is safe. While Putin's getting his photo ops lined up for Alaska, Ukraine's allies are busy locking the doors before he even gets through them. This week, Europe doubled down. The EU approved a massive 3.2 billion macro financial package to keep Ukraine's economy stable under fire. The Netherlands pledged 500 million in new military support. Nordic partners added 430 million worth of US-sourced arms. But it's not just about money. It's about unity before the Alaska meeting. Allies huddle in the UK ahead of the Alaska summit. This weekend, officials from the US, Ukraine, and European nations, including the UK, Germany, France, and Finland, are meeting in Britain. The goal is to finalize a unified stance ahead of Trump's one-on-one with Putin. So why does this matter? This ensures Ukraine isn't sidelined. Allies want to present a solid, uncompromising front against any territorial concessions. Translation: Europe wants no daylight between their stance on Ukraine's, even if Washington's signals start to blur. Again.
Шановні українці, українки, президент Трамп оголосив про підготовку своєї зустрічі з Путіним на Алясці, дуже далеко від цієї війни, яка триває на нашій землі, проти нашого народу, яку все одно не закінчити без нас, без України. Путін не вірив в наших людей, тому ухвалив це своє безнадійне рішення спробувати взяти Україну. Це було його головною помилкою – не зважати на українців. Я вірю в наших людей, бо українці сильні, українці захищають своє. Багато хто в світі став на бік України за час війни. Навіть ті, хто з Росією, знають, що вона чинить зло. Звісно, ми не дамо Росії нагород за зроблене. Український народ заслуговує на мир. Але всі партнери мають розуміти, що таке достойний мир. Цю війну треба закінчувати, і Росія має її закінчити. Росія її почала та затягує, не слухаючи ніякі дедлайни. І саме це проблема, а не щось інше. Відповідь на українське територіальне питання є вже в Конституції України. Відступати від цього ніхто не буде і не зможе. Дарувати свою землю окупанту українці не будуть. Україна готова до реальних рішень, які можуть дати мир. Будь-які рішення, які проти нас, будь-які рішення, які без України, вони одночасно і рішення проти миру. Вони нічого не дадуть. Це мертві рішення. Вони ніколи не спрацюють. А нам усім потрібен реальний, живий мир, який люди будуть поважати. Ми готові разом з президентом Трампом, разом з усіма нашими партнерами працювати заради реального і, головне, тривалого миру. Миру, який не розвалиться через бажання Москви. Я дякую всім нашим людям за те, що ми разом, Україна є. Дякую всім нашим воїнам за те, що ми зберегли незалежність. Стійте міцно. Це наша земля. Ми – це Україна. Слава Україні!
On the money front, EU, NATO are ramping up, a clear sign they're preparing for a long haul. On the diplomacy front, they're locking arms before Putin can wedge them apart. But here's the risk. If US falters, Europe will carry more of the burden. That's exactly what Moscow wants, a tired, overextended Europe without American backup. Every time we take 10 steps forward, whether it's the US greenlighting European countries to buy American weapons for Ukraine, or the Ukrainian-American drone deal, or that strategic minerals deal Trump wanted so badly it should have secured Ukraine ironclad security guarantees. We end up taking 1,000 steps back when Trump runs straight into Putin's arms on demand. Nothing can be decided about Ukraine without Ukraine. But what's worrying right now is that Trump seems to be slipping back to his old ways, chasing Putin's approval, playing into his demands, and walking away with nothing in return. Every time, Putin makes him look small, every time it's theater, and while the show plays on, real lives hang in the balance. We've seen real progress in recent weeks. Weapons deals, drone agreements, European unity. Solid steps forward. But as Putin rains down even more missiles and drones on peaceful Ukrainian cities, Trump keeps setting new deadlines month after month, while Putin slithers, stalls, and uses the time to commit fresh war crimes daily. And still, Trump refuses to face the truth. Putin does not want peace. He will keep going until he's stopped. Peace through strength is not a slogan. It's now. And with one reckless pivot toward Moscow, we risk erasing it all, sliding 1,000 steps back. This isn't just about Ukraine's borders, it's about whether bullies learn that brute force pays off, because if they do, they won't stop here. And that's why I do this. This channel is part of the fight. Not just the fight on the ground, but the fight for truth. Every like, every share, every comment chips away at the propaganda Kremlin is building around the world. If you've been here since the beginning, you know silence is surrender. So speak. Share what you've heard today. Send it to someone who thinks this war is far away. Because when Ukraine falls, Europe shakes. And the free world follows. If you're new here, welcome to Yarochenko. Hit subscribe, join the fight, and if you want to help keep the reports coming, the cameras, the research, the hours it takes to cut through the noise, buy me a coffee link is in the description box below. To everyone who's standing with Ukraine, with words, with action, with support, you prove that borders can't divide those who stand for freedom. This is Ukraine Update with Slavie. I'll see you next time. God bless America, and Slava Ukraini.
But I'm just getting started. My eyes on the target now, now. Yeah, the battle's won, still kingdom come. To give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see.